Well, welcome back. Chilling with Dylan, episode 12. It's been a while, not too long, but in comparison. But I'm pleasantly happy to announce that I've got a very special guest with me. One of the coldest football players that I've ever seen in real time, in real life, and also just one of the most genuine people that I met at Bishop Gorman, who, has been through a lot of trial and tribulation and still keeps going every day. So I'm always rooting for him. My guy, the one and only Tyjon Lindsey.
What's up, man? What's up? I appreciate you for having me, man. And likewise, man, one of the most genuine people. Dylan, you always showed me welcoming arms, going to Gorman and all that, and being one of my longtime and close friends, bro. So I appreciate you for having me.
Hey man, it's love. I remember the first time, very briefly, but I remember the first time that I met you when you and Tate transferred to Gorman, and it was either Spanish class or theater class, but it was just
Just
straight jokes the
yeah, literally.
entire time. So nah, y'all came through on some like 50 Cent and Eminem shit. So it was like
Yeah,
who are these
literally, man.
who are these guys coming in and taking over? But no, man, it's I'm glad to have you here. I've been reconnecting with a lot of people from Gorman, so you're one of the coldest, man. By far the most explosive player that I've ever seen. Just the way that you
Man,
were able to take the ball and turn 5 yards into 30. So
yes,
man,
sir.
it
I
was a pleasure.
appreciate that, man. Our unbelievers appreciate that, and you know what I'm saying. It was all helped by our team. You know what I'm saying. It wasn't just us. So uh, those years was some of my best years, and I appreciate the love and genuinity that you showed me, bro. So it's all love.
Of course, my guy. So to kick off, to more so go like your early life. So I know you grew up in Corona, California. What was that like for you growing up?
Man, yeah, it was a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of bumps in the road that I had to get over. Starting from the day of my birth, I was actually taken from my mother due to situations that she had, being a victim of drugs, specifically the crack epidemic in the 80s. And at the time, she wasn't able to have children anymore. All my siblings are 15 and 17 years older than me. I have one brother and one sister on my mother's side. So she wasn't able to have children at the time. And miraculously she was able to have a miracle baby, me and specifically. And I'm just thankful that my mom persevered through all the things that she's been through, able to bring me to life. And my sister at the time was 18 years old, so instead of me going into the system and CPS taking me away from my mother, my sister raised me till I was about 9 years old, and I genuinely appreciate my sister for that, the sacrifices that she made, on top of also having a daughter of her own. And she raised me in Los Angeles, California, specifically off Menlo and Hoover, those streets, 5 minutes away from the USC Coliseum. And yeah, so that was about my beginning years, about that time. So live with my
Well,
sister, man.
man, well, praise God that you're here, and I can. I actually, a lot of people don't know this, but when I came out the womb, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck, and the doctors were
Man,
worried. They were worried that I wasn't gonna make it. So I can relate to, what I'm
yeah.
saying, just getting through, surviving through the grace of God and through the glory. But do you feel like with that being like the start of your journey into life, do you feel like it's prepared you to be able to survive and fight through anything that life throws at you?
Man, yes, and just seeing the examples, like first and foremost, my mother. I grew up without a father in my life, and also without my father in my life. What also without my mother in my life. Excuse me. So not having both parents growing up, it was hard to become the man that I am. It took me a lot longer than I expected to understand and navigate life in general. Being raised by my sister, not having that manly figure in my life to show me the route and how to be that stand-up man that I have to be in this world today. And I had to learn these things on my own by experience and going through different situations. You know what I'm saying? I used to think being the bad guy was cool. Growing up in off Midlow and Hoover, you found I'm saying in LA, I wasn't really fond at that time to sports. What was cool to me was hanging around those guys who made me feel at home on these
Yeah.
streets, specifically gangbangers and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
those were the type of people that I had navigated towards, and I felt a more brotherhood towards those people. Um, but as I was living out there with my sister, um, I wasn't really seeing my life going downhill. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I used to skip school. I was in third grade. I was only 7 years old. I remember this vividly. I skipped school for 30 days and would just go to those streets and hang out with these dudes. And my sister didn't really know what I was doing. I tell her, and I'm walking to school, like I would walk down the street and I have dudes and different members of gangs ask me, where you from? Like,
Yeah.
why are you wearing that color? And I wouldn't understand. You know what I'm saying? I'll just be like, my sister had me in like the nicest stuff. She had me in Jordans, Bape, Timberlands, different type of outfits, the newest of the newest. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wouldn't understand. I would have conversations with these older men and just be like, I'm just wearing this. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't know. As I'm older now, I understand where they were getting at, but
Yeah.
I didn't really understand. So like I said, I skipped school for 30 days when I was 7 years old, and I would only go to school because I knew exactly what time recess was. So I would walk to school. Yes, literally, I would walk to school, hop the gate during recess. Right when that bell rang, I would hop back over, jump on my scooter that my sister bought me, and go back to the block where all my friends were that I considered my friends. These guys were like 20 years old, and I was only 7, hanging around these dudes. Um, what honestly veered me away from them. One day it was like the 30th day. Honestly, I skipped school, which is ironic, and I was out in the street, very busy street, and I had ran out in front of this, like in front of one of these cars that was passing by, but I couldn't see because it was a car parked right next to me, and I was just having fun, running around, playing around with the dudes and all that, and unfortunately, I honestly got hit by a car at that time, blacked out. Only thing I remember, I woke up and it was like a guy over me saying like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And at this time, I had a concussion, so I was very confused. I was crying. I was a little kid, man. I was
Yeah.
crying, but fortunately, I only had a bone bruise on my shin, and I was able to walk home. Never found out which car hit me because they drove off, and this was in LA, Los Angeles, California, in around 2007 or 2008, I believe. And I was able to call my sister and tell her like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I've been missing school. It's been about 30 days I missed school. I've been hanging around these people, and my sister let me have it. Like this is
Right.
not why I raised you. This is not the type of person that you are. Like
Mhm.
I'm trying to give you a better opportunity. I'm like
Right.
I'm like I understand, but right now I'm hurting. I think you need to leave work. We could talk about this later. I get to the
I need
hospital. It's the
a hug.
same thing. It's the
Yeah.
same conversation. Like, why would you do this? Like, you're better than this. You were raised better than this. And I'm like, I know, I understand. Like, I understand now. She was very very emotional because you know she looked at me as if I was her own child, and she
Yeah.
raised me as if I was. Even though she has her daughter already, which is my niece. And she was just very emotional at the fact that she could have possibly lost me that day. And I started to really understand my actions and trying to think it out more, just in the fact of that, you know it could hurt so many other people rather than just myself. And my sister decided that it was just a lot for her raising her own daughter, what I'm saying, on her own, along with raising her little brother, which is
Mhm.
basically her son. So my grandmother lived in Corona, California at the time, and she was raising about 7 of my other cousins, and she adopted 7 of my other cousins due to another situation that my auntie had in her personal life, and she couldn't raise her kids as well. So I had moved to Corona, California at about 8 years old, probably a couple days after I got hit by a car. And I wasn't adopted by my grandmother. I was the only one in the house out of the eight, including me, that
Mm.
wasn't adopted, along with all my cousins are brothers and sisters. It's I believe three brothers and four sisters in the house. And I just felt like the oddball of the whole family, especially being in that household. I'm the youngest male. All my other male cousins, they played sports, football specifically, and it was my first year starting to play football at 9 years old. I was a must play. I played tight end my first year. So a must play at the time when you're in youth football means you must play 8 plays. So I
Yeah.
only got to see 8 plays in the game. And who started over me was one of my older cousins. He started over me, so I had
Oh,
to wait until he did his thing. And then I get my 8 plays towards like 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. My
so
first year, I
bragging
remember my
rights.
stats. Yeah, my first year, I remember my stats. I had about like 5 touchdowns just from tight end playing on the line. I was tall compared to how old I was, and
Wow.
compared to all the other players, I was actually like 5'4" at just in the fourth grade. I'm
Thank
5'8", 5'9" right now, so I didn't really grow as much. So back then, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, what I'm saying, like,
you.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
be that dude. So just wait, just wait. I'm taller than all y'all. I'm gonna be 6'6", 6'8". Don't even trip. Like, my time is coming. Just wait. My time is
yeah.
coming,
It's
and
real.
I've been waiting till this day for that time to come, man. So it's been a long journey in that football life, man. But those are my earliest years, and I remember the trials and tribulations, like you said, that I've went through, and I seen. I had to experience these things and just wait my turn for the opportunities that were presented to me in the future. So
Man, no, that's I mean, to speak to that, like that is a lot that you had to undergo in a short
mhm.
time, but the fact that you were able to find something that gave you
Yes,
that
sir.
sense of fulfillment, that sense of purpose, like you can't beat that. And was it when after that season that moving forth you were like, football is it? This is going to be my way that I can change my life.
Yeah. I realized that this was the thing for me. It wasn't being the bad kid, it wasn't skipping school. My grandma didn't allow that. And then I learned by example from 7 of my cousins, from the girls to the boys. I learned how to navigate and how to become the person I am at that young age. And I realized that football was for me because now I have these male figures in my life who are doing similar things as me.
Right.
And including we're sharing blood. I'm seeing them being very good at what they're doing. I'm like, man, it must run in the blood. You know what I'm saying? So if I just keep at it, you know what I'm saying? If I just keep at it, I will get to where I need to be. And when I first played football, my one of my oldest cousins was my head coach.
Oh wow.
And at that time, um, I just would tell him like, I want to play, but I was playing up, so I was the youngest one on my team. I was the only fourth grader on a fifth grade and sixth grade team. But my cousin would tell me, he was like, "You playing with your cousins and you being in this position that you're in, I promise you, is gonna put you in a different mindset." So
Right.
after that 1 year, my first year of football, he said, "I think that you should go to your original age and start playing." And then when I
Right.
went to my original age, I was really bigger than everybody. So then my coach, he moved me to quarterback. So I played quarterback my
What?
second year of football. Yes. I only had
Okay.
2 plays though. I only had 2 plays where I would roll out, I'll fake it to the running back, the tight end would do a corner, and I'll throw him the ball or I'll run. So those is my 2 plays that he gave me.
Okay.
And but I was honestly one of the best players on that team.
Yeah, I believe
Being
that.
able to play against people who are actually my age. And I
Yeah.
realized that after that year, I was like, okay, that set me up for what I'm gonna be in the future. And from then on out, from my second year of football, and that was in 2009. Then 2010, I started navigating, learning how to run routes, we started getting different quarterbacks, actual quarterbacks who could really throw the ball. So I started playing running back and wide receiver, getting the ball from out the backfield and also running deep, go route, 9 routes, and the quarterback would just throw it to me. Then about I say 2011 is where I decided I was just gonna play corner and wide receiver, try to play
Yeah.
both sides, navigate through there. I played for this youth football team called the Inland Empire Ducks. At this time, we was the number one team in youth football. Um, and then in 2012, my eighth grade year, to fast forward, that's where I met one of my best friends and one of my teammates that that you played with and went to school with, Tate Martell, and that's where I met him in the eighth grade. We found him in San Diego. He came to the Inland Empire, started playing for our team. He was in eighth grade at the time, and I was specifically receiver at that time in corner. And he was one of my best friends, if not my best friend, growing up at that time in eighth grade, and from there we started a great connection. I got my accolades that I needed. He got his accolades that he needed,
Yeah.
and we finished off going to nationals, being able to travel to Florida, play against the top 10, top 5 teams around the world in the eight in youth football.
That's
And
huge.
I realized that I'm saying this could go a long way. At the end of the season, like I said, I just seen and I realized where I started from and to the eighth grade being ranked the number one eighth grader in football and youth football in the world. So coming from a must play to eighth plays from my first year of football in 2008, 2009, fast forward to 2012 and my last year of youth football being the number one player in the country was, it's just a proven fact that when you stay down and just wait your turn and keep faith, that all things could happen. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Anything is possible. So, by the grace of God, I received those accolades and was able to stay strong and get out the situations that I was in, stemming from being taken from my mother, being raised by my sister, getting hit by a car, moving in with 7 of my other cousins, and what I'm saying, feeling like the oddball, stepping back and being able to wait my turn when it is my turn. And what I'm saying, it was just it was just a I don't just thank the Lord for the good things that happen in my life. I also have to be thankful for the bad things because it has formed me and built me into the man I am today. You know what I'm saying? So
No, and I mean, like I didn't even know that you were one. I didn't know you. I didn't know you played quarterback. That's a
yeah,
whole what.
yep,
And I didn't know that you were ranked the number one player. But I mean, that's not a surprise. Like just given the
sir.
talent that I got to see up close and personal, you were just dynamic with the football. Now, when you were, to several follow ups with that, but I really do appreciate that when you were playing and you were figuring out like what position did you want to play, were there any pro players at the time that were very influential to you and that you were a big fan of?
Um, Growing up, I was a big fan of watching like Steve Smith.
Okay.
I'll say Steve Smith was honestly probably the person I could relate to the most. Out growing up, I was really quiet, but when I'm on the field, I'm really like a hothead. I like to talk, and
Yeah.
if this defensive player, if he knows how to talk stuff, that's just going to rile me up. I don't like defensive players who are quiet. Those players get on my nerves because if you're good and you don't talk to me, bro, that's gonna get in my head more. If you're locking me up and you're not saying nothing to me and you just acting like you just do this on a regular basis, I'm going to be more mad. But if you're talking back to me and I could get in your head and and,
Uh-huh.
and you don't realize
Trust.
that you talking is riling me up, then I'm okay. But
Okay.
so Steve Smith was somebody that I like really used to love to watch growing up and play. Like I wasn't that type of person to like when I was young. I wasn't that type of person that had jukes and all that. I was bigger than everybody, so I used to want to run through you. I used to want to run through
Yeah.
people's faces and all that. Stiff arm, running when I was playing running back, running through the hole after the catch, like you said, turning 5 yards into 30, 40, 50. It don't matter. So like growing up, Steve Smith was one of my favorite players I could like say that I related to at a young age. Um, growing up a little more too, I'll say Tyler Lockett. I started watching
Mm.
his route running. I started watching how, because I really believed that I was going, like, I went to the doctors and I was taller than everybody. And he was like, yeah, you're gonna be like 6'4", 6'5". I'm like, oh yeah, it's over. Like I was like, it's over. Like it's inevitable that I have to make it. Like I'm going to be this tall. But God has his own plans. Usually your plans are not yours. You feel what I'm saying? And it works out a different way. So um Tyler Lockett was somebody I used to love watching growing up. How he runs routes, how a small guy could take a kick all the way 100 yards in the league. Even at Kansas State, I used to watch him in
Mhm.
college.
He was
And
hard.
then I'll say like the main person my favorite player of all time, DeAnthony Thomas. Why
I was
emulated
I
my
was just
game
about to I
after.
was just about to say, man.
DeAnthony Thomas is a dude I emulated my game after. Like I said, I played for the youth football team. We was the number one team in the nation, the Inland Empire Ducks. And at that time, I was like, man, I'm about to change my number to 6. And DeAnthony Thomas was at Oregon. He was a freshman at Oregon. He wore number
Yep,
6.
yep.
And I used to try to like get his attention so much. Like he was my favorite player. And I used to be in my room and just like watch his running form. And I used to put bands around my arm so I wouldn't break form and just practice my running form. Then
Mm.
I started running track because I realized he ran track, practicing running faster and getting my speed better up to par and to being able to separate from defensive players. But
Yeah,
um, like I said, I used to watch these football players that I had the opportunity to meet, that I had the opportunity to also play with. Tyler Lockett, I played with him and learned a lot from him my first year in the league playing for the Seahawks. And DeAnthony Thomas, I met him in about 2015, 16 at the opening finals, which the top high school players get invited to compete at the Nike opening headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. And that's where I first met him. I showed him all my 8th grade highlights. I showed him pictures. I'm like, bro, you don't understand what this means to me. Like
right.
you have no idea how how I am today is because of you.
Yeah.
And he was very open armed. Um, when I went to fast forward, and not to skip over a lot of information, but when I went to Oregon State and transferred from Nebraska, he was somebody who had open arms, even though it's his rival team. He went to the University of Oregon. Um, he had open arms. He used to pull up to my house at Oregon State. He used to train with me. He used to watch videos and highlights with me at my house. DeAnthony Thomas is one of my close friends. I have his number to the day. Instagram, social media, all social medias. We follow each other and we talk here and there. And he's always been a big mentor for me and helping me to navigate my way and how to succeed in college and so forth. So those 3 players, I'll say, are the similarities that I have with and emulate my game after.
You know what though? I can see that, like the Steve Smith, because you played physical. You were like you weren't just a speed guy. You weren't just like, oh, I'm gonna just get you on a jet sweep. Like, no, I remember seeing you like, you're like
Yeah,
almost look like you boxing with the DB when you're trying to get in your out of your break. And so I could see
sure.
that you play bigger than your size. You're able to high point the ball, and then I could see the Tyler Lockett, the route running, the precision, the reliable hands, the ability to be able to find a crease and an opening and make the adjust to the ball to make the quarterback's life easier. And then obviously, I mean, everybody was calling you Baby DeAnthony at that time. They was like, we got DeAnthony Jr. on the team right here, right now.
Man,
So
man.
that makes sense. That makes sense. But okay, so
Sure.
that's dope that you can trace you can kind of trace where you got the inspiration for your game from. Now, you mentioned how you and Tate first met. You guys were in 8th grade. When you two were at Poway, you were both were
Mhm.
the first freshmen to ever make varsity out of San Diego. You yourself, you earned second team all honors. You earned player of the year. You guys went 4-7. Was it difficult playing under those circumstances, given all the success you had just achieved in youth football?
Yeah. It was very different as well. You know, going from the number one team in the nation till, and I know it's only youth football, but going to high school, you're playing with 18 and playing against with 18, 17, 16, 15 year olds. I was 13, I believe, at the time, 13, 14, and that seniority starts to settle in. You starting to not being the best player on the team at the time. You have to realize that these 18-year-olds, why would I let some 14-year-old kid who just got out of middle school take my position?
For
So
sure.
like, I remember the first workout we had. Like, I'm going to the bench to go do my bench press, and I run there. I'm the first person there. I run there, and this is the first sense of like seniority and unfairness I felt ever. And I didn't know if it was real. I thought it was only on TV shows and all that. I didn't know if that people really acted like that. You know what I'm saying? And I sat on the bench. I'm ready, and then one of the seniors, he's like walking in. He's like, "Hey, you're gonna have to get up. Like, I bench here." I'm like, I kind of ignored. I'm like, I'm not even gonna
Entertainment.
I'm not even gonna feed in on that. I'm just
Yeah,
about to
yeah.
get my word. Hey, you're gonna have to get up. Like, I don't think, like, you're a freshman. You gonna have to get up. I'm like, I don't know who you talking to. I'm not from Poway. Like, I didn't grow up over here, bro. Like, and being specific, like, it was only about like three to four of us of color, like, to be honest. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So it was very different from where I come from, growing up on Mentlo and Hoover, like
Yeah.
in South
Oh,
Central LA, Corona, California. It's the suburbs, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's a lot of people of color there. But going to Poway, it's not many of them, and that's in fact. So I just felt a lot of unfairness. And
hmm.
one of my teammates, he like tried to grab me to pull me up off and I'm like, that's the first fight I had, honestly. And I hey, if you went to Poway, if y'all watching this, y'all can vouch. I got the best of that fight, and
Okay.
nobody since then, nobody since then was like, okay, he's 14, but that age don't matter like that. But most of my teammates respected that I was able at that young of age to like stand up for myself and to be able to not let that politic and seniority get to my head, because it don't matter who you are. It's always somebody younger than you that could do exactly what you can do, but better. You know what I'm saying? They have more time, and you can't be mad at that. You can
Mm.
learn from them, or you can act like this and be jealous about this person's success and this person's route and how he's succeeding more faster than you. But it's not your life. It's not your route. God has his own timing for you. You know what I'm saying? And I earned my respect on that team, honestly. I earned my respect. I started at corner, I started at punt return, kick return, and I started at receiver. And I won first, like second team, all American after that season. It didn't go as well as we wanted to, but I won MVP of the team. I was the most valuable player of the team. I won offensive player of the team, and other accolades that Max Preps gave me, that I can't think of right now. But I did well for myself, and I earned my respect at the end of that season. No matter how bad it went, 4-7, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It was all those L's were learning experiences, and that's how I looked at it. So yeah, it was very different coming from where I was coming from, being around the top eighth graders, the top tier players, to being the best player on my team and not having that help all around. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And then you throw in, you're from LA, you're out
Yeah.
in San Diego, a little different energy, a little different
Totally
vibe.
different. Totally different, bro. So it was a different experience, but it helped me humble myself a lot more. I honestly said that. So going through that my freshman year, and being able to humble myself, it instilled a lot of like selflessness in me, and it also made me realize, like, when I'm a senior, to not treat the little bros or the
Like,
freshmen or sophomores like that ever. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
because you gotta at the end of the day, you gotta set a better example and pay it forward
Exactly.
the way that you would want to be done for you. So no, that's
Exactly.
that's real. That's real. And I mean, it goes with your character and what you're doing now with coaching. So I respect that. Now, obviously, California ain't no joke when it comes to football.
Yes, sir.
Who would you say is the best defensive back that you played against in California?
Best defensive back in California that I played with. His name was
Oh no,
he
sorry,
was actually my
played against. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
not.
for sure, for sure. Played against. I was a freshman at this time. So after my season at Poway, you have 7-on-7. So I'm
Mhm.
going into my sophomore year, and at this time, I'm looking for another school. That's another story we'll tap into. Um, but I played for this team. Tate was our quarterback. All my cousins was on my team. Uh, we were called the two tone all stars, and we played this team called B2G Elite, and they had players like Jaleel Wadud. They had players like Cordell Broadus, who played at Gorman. They had
Mhm.
players like Jack Jones. Brady White was their quarterback.
I'm
But the best defensive player on that team that I played against, and it really humbled me, and I went against, his name was Imam Marshall, but they call him Biggie. He went to
yeah,
USC.
I
Yeah, he
remember
went to USC. He
that.
played corner there. He played in the league for a couple of years for, I believe, Baltimore Ravens. And I remember the first play, they're like, hey, bro, like people on the sideline talking, hey, bro, this is the number one eighth grader in it. I'm like, oh, don't do this. He's a number one player. I believe that he was a number one player in high school at the time. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, that's the number one. Y'all need to go. The first play I remember, I'm like, damn, I'm looking at Tate, like ready for the snap. He's looking at the quarterback too, though. And this is back in the day. This is when like that quick jam started. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really know what that was, but I'm like, why is he standing in front of me like a wide receiver? Like, why is he not, both feet even? I didn't know what he was about to do. So I'm just ready for the snap, and they're like, damn, said before he even said go, I'm just to the hemmed up to the ground, bro. Ever since then, I was like, bro, this ain't for me. I need some more time. You know what I'm saying? I gotta develop. Like, obviously I thought that I was that dude in Poway. This is not Poway. Like, there's so much talent all around the world, and the
Yeah.
competition I was playing against at that high school wasn't top tier. We were in California, but you know what I'm saying, it's different from the San Diego League and the Trinity leagues like St. John Bosco, Modern Day,
Mm.
um
Those are big powerhouse.
Servite, you know what I'm saying? Those teams and other LA teams that you could play against in California. So that was the best defensive back I played against in high school at that time.
That's a good choice, though. I mean, and
Yeah.
that experience definitely probably had you like, all right, no
Yeah.
corner's gonna be able to press me like that ever again. I'm not
Hey,
letting it
hey,
happen.
it was a learning experience. I was like, oh my gosh. And under the radar, they got the cameras. They like, oh yeah, this the eight. I'm like, do not post that one. Do not, please
Oh,
don't
you're like,
post
hey,
this
yo,
one.
delete that right
But
now.
I remember that vividly. I'm 26 years old, man. That happened when I was 14. Like, I remember that vividly.
Look, stuff like that you never forget. So
Man.
that's real. That's real. Now, before we get into you coming to Gorman, do you ever sometimes sit and wonder how things would have been had you stayed at Poway all 4 years?
Uh yeah, I do realize and have, self-evaluations on like what type of person I could have been, or what type of life I would be living if I stayed at Poway. And honestly, going to Gorman, it being a college preparatory school, it changed me as a young man, and I believe that if I stayed at Poway, honestly, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have received, the blessings and the accolades that I have received at Gorman. Because going to Gorman, when I transferred to Gorman, they were already the number one team in the nation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So going from eighth grade to the number one team to going to a 4-7 team, and then now I want to transfer to the number one high school team in the nation. I felt like it was the best opportunity for me. But knowing the accolades that I won at Poway, along with, I ran track at Poway, and I went to state as a freshman in hurdles. I came in like seventh or ninth place. I don't remember, but I was one of the top 10 hurdlers in the state in the 300-meter hurdles at Poway and in San Diego County. So I was one of like I love track. I seen what I could have done if I stayed there. The track team was very good. The football team wasn't as good. But going to Gorman, going to Gorman, honestly, was the best thing for me. You know what I'm saying? You're going to a school, a Catholic private school where they require you to shave your face. They require you to wear a button up or a vest or khakis with your belt and your shirt tucked in. And you know what I'm saying? Your hair can't be past certain you know what I'm saying, lengths and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? I used going to that school, I was like, I didn't really like the rules and wanted to abide by it, but it did after high school, it did form me into that man that I wanted to be, and being able to have great conversations and knowledgeable talks with people to be able to network. Um, those people who went to the school with me, you know what I'm saying, are business owners and higher ranked people in, you know what I'm saying, into those fields. So I believe, like I said, if I stayed at Poway, I would have still had that public school mentality in me. I'm the best player. I feel like if I stayed at there, it wouldn't have been good for my mental health. I needed to be surrounded by like-minded people who were on the same thing as me and doing the same stuff in higher rankings of players to help me compete and to get to that dog that I, wanted to form and to be on that field.
Well, I mean, it sounded like you then thus made the right decision in coming to Gorman. Now, when you were going through the process at the time, were you were living with Tate at this time when you were first figuring out where you're going to go? Um, when his parents sat down to make that decision, what was your initial reaction? And when you came to Gorman, was it a cultural shock for you in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, my initial reaction to wanting to leave California and go to Vegas to go to Bishop Gorman, I was very saddened and I was very disappointed because, I felt like in the eighth grade before that, um, I would, like I said, I didn't have my father in my life. I didn't have my mother in my life, and I was actually graduating from the eighth grade to go to high school, and at the time, I didn't have nobody, no, none of my parents to come to my graduation. But Tate
Mm,
was my best friend, and I used to in the eighth grade, I used to stay at his house a lot and be around his family. They would pick me up for like our games. I'll stay with him for the weekend and all that other stuff with his family. Thankful for Al and Taffy Martell for, welcoming me with welcome arms into their house at such a young age. And I remember Tate called me and was like, I know it might not be many people at your graduation, but my dad and my mom would love to like come to your graduation and be there as like your family. And
yeah.
like it honestly made me very emotional, and like I was very thankful. I'm like, yeah, sure. And at the time my grandmother was deciding if she wanted to leave California and start a better life and move to Ohio with her family, her sisters and brothers and stuff. That's where my family tree stems from, is Ohio. So she was saying that, you know what I'm saying, if you guys don't want to leave, it's best that you have your parents, raise you now. You guys are old enough, you're 14, you know what I'm saying? And I was always that, like I said, I was always that oddball in my family, and all my cousins stayed with my grandmother. But I was like I think I'm different. Like literally, I used to have self-evaluation. I used to be in my room and just like be like, I'm different. If I really want to change my life, I have to get up out of here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I moved in with them, then Poway, and then I received all those accolades. And then I remember we had that talk, and they were like, we've decided that we want to move to Vegas so it could be a better opportunity for the family. And me, I was just so narrow minded. Like I got all my accolades. Like why are we moving? Like I moved here specifically to not leave California. Like I'm a Californian. I grew up here. I want to play here. You know what I'm saying? It was never in my idea like to move out of state. If that was the case, I would have just moved to Ohio with my grandmother. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we had that talk. The whole family sat down and they were like, we're not gonna make any brass decisions without everybody being on board. And I was like, okay, okay, we'll have another talk in a couple weeks, and decide if this is what we want to do. So fast forward 3 days. It's not 2 weeks, it's 3 days. So I was through for like a whoopsie daisy. I'm like, what's going on? Like, they're like, we decided that we're gonna move to Vegas. And I'm like very emotional. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm like I thought we were gonna have a talk as a family. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And um, they were just saying. I remember they said like, well, you know what I'm saying. You're doing good in track. You're doing good in football. You got these accolades, but this is a family. This is a family deal. Tate isn't doing as well as he wants to do in football. Riley's not doing what she wants to do at the time in volleyball. So um, we think it's in our best interest that we move to Vegas and give y'all a better opportunity in sports. So honestly, I didn't have no say so in going to Gorman. I didn't really see the vision. I honestly didn't see the vision because I was building something for myself at the moment in San
Right.
Diego, having track and football. Tate only played football. So um, we just up and left. Honestly, up and left. And at that time, then going to Gorman, if I could tap into this story as well. Then we go to Gorman. I go from being the starting cornerback and starting punt returner, kick returner, and receiver at Poway, being the best player on the team, receiving accolades like second team and first team offense and defense. You know what I'm saying? So till to being the fourth string returner, fourth string punt kick returner, third, fourth string receiver, and I'm at practice on this number one team with dudes like Alize Jones, Cordell Broadus, Brandon Gahagan, good players who I gotta compete against, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. I just didn't I just was very saddened. I was like, I've already been through this. I've already been through so many setbacks and trials and tribulations. Like I gotta go through this again. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I gotta go through this again. I used to go in my room. I remember this vividly. I used to go in my room for that whole summer camp. It was like 3 weeks. And I used to cry every day and just pray to God, like what is going on? Am I not good enough? Am I not doing what I need to do? You know what I'm saying? So like my initial response to go back to what you asked, I didn't want to go. I honestly didn't want to go. I was fine where I was, and I didn't see the bigger picture in the long run.
For sure. I mean, and given your situation, given what you had experienced as a child, it's natural to like once you finally kind of found your footing somewhere to be like, don't take me from this. I'm finally comfortable. I finally feel like
Yeah.
I can kick my feet up and relax a little bit, and I don't feel so like so anxious. So no, I definitely understand that. But I mean, hey, it ended up paying off, so
Hey,
you came through, you and Tate came through and kicked down the door. You came through, hit the ground running your first year, racking up 34 receptions, 884 receiving yards, and 15 touchdowns. What would you attribute to that instant success? Because to go from being a four string and being, you know, in a way like counted out to now you're the guy that defenses are game planning against. That's quite the shift, but that also requires a strong mind.
yeah, yeah. It humbled me a lot because the day before the game, they told me that, hey, I know it hasn't been seeming like you are gonna play, but we're gonna decide to start you this game. And you know what I'm saying? When they told me that, I went home, I called everybody. I'm like, hey, it's green, like it's up now. Like there's nobody gonna hold me back. Like God is giving me this opportunity to take off. Like I have to grasp this opportunity and not take it for granted.
Right.
So being in that situation, it just made me realize that I could turn something bad into something good if I just changed my mindset. You know what I'm saying? I was always thinking like, what am I not doing? What am I not doing right? But I was doing everything right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give up on myself. I didn't quit. I stayed going to practice every day, no matter if I was first string or fourth string. I stayed encouraging my teammates, jumping up and down when they scoring. You know what I'm saying? Doing things like that, being that person. I had to realize like I can't be this dude like I was at Poway and just, oh, I deserve this. I need to be the best player and all this other stuff. No, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm on the best team in the world, the best football team in the world, high school team in the world. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like being surrounded by those players and not having dudes who have that seniority in them talking about, hey, you ain't gonna do this. You're a sophomore. You ain't gonna be able to do, you know what I'm saying? To getting my first punt return. I remember getting my first punt return for like 60 yards. I didn't score. I'm just running down the sideline, and the kicker comes in front of me. And I told you, I got that Steve Smith in me. And he decided to get in front of me, and I ran him over. You know what I'm saying? And every day, this is one of my favorite highlights, bro. Besides, yeah, one of my favorite highlights against Brophy Prep. And I just
Mm-hmm.
see, you can see on the sideline, Tony Sanchez. You know Tony. He's just running down the sideline. He's like, after I ran the dude over, I turn around, I'm seeing him running towards me. I'm thinking like, I must have did something wrong. And first thing he's like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Jumped up, chest bumped me. Ever since then, bro, and I just seen all my teammates like hug me and love me the way I needed to because they knew what I've been through. They knew I've been going through stuff every day, leaving practice, not being the starter or being the top tier person and player that I wanted to be and being able to showcase it at practice, you know what I'm saying, the ways I wanted to. Now I got
Right.
that opportunity in the game. So like ever since that play, it changed my whole mindset. Like these people love me. These people knew what I could do. They didn't forget. You feel what I'm saying? I forgot. So I gotta
Mm.
get back into myself, being around these dudes and people who are like-minded like me who want to win. You know what I'm saying? And in tough situations, bro, lift your head up. You're not supposed to be emotional and cry because you're gonna get that opportunity. And when you get it and when it's presented, it's what you gonna do with it. And ever since that first play against Brophy Prep, I got that punt return, bro. I ran with that opportunity and I didn't look back in high school, man. I always kept my head up, my chin held high, always to the sky.
No, man, that was I mean, first off, $5 into your collection plate, Pastor Lindsey, because that hit right there.
No,
Um,
yeah.
but no, I remember being at that Brophy game and having to film it, and I had to like adjust because you were kind of coming, you were kind of
Yeah.
like where I was, you were kind of coming close. I'm like, yo, I'm
Yeah.
like,
I
I rock
remember that.
this Tyjon, but if he knocks over the camera, I would tell my teacher, look, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. But
Literally.
that play was crazy because that was a momentum shifter too. That it was like a pretty competitive game, and then Tate came in that game, and he went off, and that was like the introduction to like T Wayne and Money Martell. And I just want to take credit for I was the first person on BGTV to utilize that, and when I would like call over your highlights. But no, that was a time that sophomore year was a
Hey,
really.
the audio, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Oh no!
Yeah, the audio off. I can't hear you.
Oh
Dang.
no!
Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Oh, it's good now.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead. My bad.
Cool. No, yeah, you good. Um, yeah, no, that sophomore year, I mean, that was the most fun year of high school for me. But like just watching y'all, seeing just the dominance and how quickly y'all came and adapted, it was awesome because it was like everyone was kind of wondering, like, okay, like these two guys coming in with all this hype, all this fanfare, everyone's like, oh my gosh. But it's like, nah, they went out and they showed why the hype was real. And
Sure.
you ended up winning your first state championship and a national championship as well. Now coming from previously, right, you're on a 4-7 team, so now you're on the number one ranked team. You win your first year. How did that feel to finally like become a champion for the first time in high school?
Man, that feeling was so undescribable. Honestly, it felt so unreal. You know what I'm saying? We won our state championship game. I believe it was like 70-28. So
Yeah.
like to put up that many numbers, and I scored 3 touchdowns in a state championship game. I've never even been in a state championship game. So like being able to like go that far in football at that high level, it was it was it was indescribable. Like it was second to none. Knowing that we could possibly go down as one of the greatest high school football teams ever. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Um, so it just made me realize like if you stay down and just wait your
Mm.
turn, you will have that opportunity. And like I keep saying, bro, when that opportunity is presented, we didn't take that for granted at Gorman. We didn't take that for granted even when we were down certain times against, we played Bingham. We went to double or triple overtime. We were losing to them and we
Mm.
won that game. Then we played the number one team, St. John Bosco, with Josh Rosen
That was
and
amazing.
Sean McGrew at running back. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? And
Yes.
we were beating them like 28-3 at halftime. You know what I'm saying? So going in those type of locker rooms and environment and just seeing your teammates and your brothers that you go to school with, just like, hey, bro, we about to do this. Like, this is that year that we about to do something crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so it just it just showed that like obviously us being a Catholic school, it just showed that God was on our side. Like he's always been on our side. And I remember going to mass before every game, like and having that brotherly connection with your teammates and you connecting in a more spiritual way. You know what I'm saying? It just bonded us way more. Winning those and going to the banquets, you just start seeing your highlights of your whole team, and you just see the journey that y'all went through and all the trials and tribulations, like where y'all did not fold and y'all seen it through. So like those moments will live with me forever. That was being in high school, being with those players at Gorman, and going to that school. Honestly, was the best times of my life, man. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the bad. I enjoyed the good. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed every moment and every emotion that I went through because we obviously needed to go through that to become what we did and
For
to
sure.
do what we wanted to do.
For sure. For sure. Because your junior year, you ended up outdoing your numbers from the previous year. You had 45 receptions for 1,017 yards, 14 touchdowns. And by now, you not only cemented yourself as one of the top receivers of class of 17, but one of the best players overall. To now go from, okay, I made it over the mountain year
Mhm.
one. Now I got to do it again. The stakes are up. The competition is higher. What was it like to do it times two back to back? Because not everybody makes it to the top again. Sometimes people's moment in the sun is only a short time.
Yeah, we realized that we had a target on our back, honestly, and that target on your back, it just throughout every game, it just grew bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? And with that target being on our back in that year, you know what I'm saying, and having to try to do what you have to do, but again, so basically we went 15-0, right? So we have
Yep.
to do that again. You know what I'm saying? We can't lose again. We have so much at stake and so many people counting on us. So that off season going into my junior year, I remember working twice as harder. I remember staying after practice with Tate and all my other DBs and receivers and getting extra work. You know what I'm saying? Sitting down and learning more plays. It's not my first year. I'm already more familiar with the plays. So now I got to teach the younger players that's coming up to being on varsity, and I'm an upperclassman. And I remember how I was treated my freshman year. So how can I help these dudes elevate and to get where I was when I was in their position last year or 2 years ago? Is you bring those dudes around you. You go out and hang out and be with those dudes. You know what I'm saying? We went to parties and stuff, but I remember I would hang out with my teammates and stuff like that and
Yeah.
protect them. I would only go out to make sure that my teammates, hey, bro, we gotta go 15-0, bro. Like we can't be we celebrated at the banquet. All that having fun, you know what I'm saying? We gotta do that when we graduate. And I
Yeah.
remember like the mindset, not only in my head, but how contagious it was to those players around me, was very like, it was very it was very contagious to me as well. You know what I'm saying? For how they were acting and stuff like that. So um I just had to elevate my game by doing everything that I did the year before, but times two. You know what I'm saying? I had to, obviously, I had a bigger role on the team. You know what I'm saying? Um, Team's game planning for me, so I'm having to figuring out ways to make sure that two defenders stay on my side, so I could get Austin Arnold open over there and Brandon Gahagan open. It's opening up other things for other players to do what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was very thankful for that, because if it wasn't for that, then my teammates, my brothers who seen me, you know what I'm saying, and waited their turn, you know what I'm saying? It made me realize, like, hey, bro, I told you your time was gonna come. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying? You gonna be a star. You're gonna get that opportunity that you deserve. You know what I'm saying? So like, being in that position of being an upperclassman, and knowing that teams are looking at you as this highly touted player, but they don't know we got dangerous Vegas players all around. You know what I'm saying? All around. And it just was a good and humbling, another good and humbling experience to do it all over again, and to know that if we keep that faith and keep that fellowship and brotherhood strong, you know what I'm saying, it don't matter who you are. I could be the top tier Vegas player in the nation. I'm a top tier player in the nation, and I have dudes that's putting up more numbers than me that didn't get that opportunity last year. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And to see those dudes who put in the same amount of work now starting to get the things and the accolades that they deserve. That was the best part about doing it all over again, is to seeing my teammates and my brothers who had to wait their turn and wait behind me get that
Mhm.
opportunity when it was presented.
No, that's amazing. I mean, that and the passion, you know what I'm saying? That is a contagious passion. That is and I do remember just watching you. You played with so much joy, and you played with so much tenacity. You know what I'm saying? You could just tell you wanted it. You weren't afraid of the moment, and you had, like, I could just always tell with you that you weren't thinking about just like, oh, I'm just playing for me to get my numbers up. Like, you're like, no, I'm thinking about my family. I'm thinking about everybody who's going to come after me. I'm
Mhm.
trying to open up opportunities for others so they have it easier. So I definitely always admired that in watching you. Um, and I could definitely tell, like, that, like, winning was everything. So I think those type of players are always the best to be around. And I talked about that with Alex, like, just that mentality. It's infectious, it's contagious, and it's important to be around. Now, this was also a year where you were lucky enough to play alongside your cousin, Brendan Radley House, as we
Mhm.
all know him, Buki, who also played corner and receiver. What was it like now to actually have, like, your kin, your blood family out in Vegas with you, and y'all are both playing the same position and also going and navigating through the same stuff together?
Yeah, it was an amazing opportunity to play with one of my cousins. And I'll say it was amazing because I see my little cousin. We're not too far in age, but um, just to see him get his opportunity, and play on the same field as me, it riled me up. Watching him making plays on defense, go like hitting people and giving us back the ball. You know what I'm saying? I run out to the field and jump up with him. Come on, bro. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we've been talking about. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
at a time, I had to I used to stay at his house a lot, and at this time he didn't have offers at all. I was with Buki when he got his first offer from coach. His name is Coach Demetrius. He's a defensive back coach at UCLA right now. And
Okay.
I just remember just staying with him. Like, at this time I had like five offers, I believe. And being on that call, like listening to him and just sitting and seeing how like thankful he was, and how I just see my little cousin like get what he deserved, because I knew it from firsthand being around him, that you're gonna play at the next level, bro. You're gonna get that opportunity because of what you did on this field. So being
Right.
able to play with him and having not only me considering all my teammates already brothers, but actually blood, and being able to share the field with him, even though he's a defensive player and he played offense. You know what I'm saying? Being able to teach him how to play offense, and then I'll be in the house with him, and he'll teach me how to play DB, and we'll go to All American Park. Record videos of me and him going against each other every day. We'll go to the sand pit in the back of the ATC, working out
Mhm.
together, competing against each other. You feel what I'm saying? Talking crazy to each other, not letting one of each other get the best of one another. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's all about, especially when you got family members like that, bro. You have to be hard on each other because you know where you come from. You know what's at stake. You know what you do this for your family. You're the ones that's supposed to be setting your family up for life, bro. So like being with him and having that strong-minded mentality that he had, being so contagious to me, and me being able to listen to my younger cousin and him giving me knowledge and motivating me to be a better person in general. You know what I'm saying? It was just second to none, bro. So being able to be playing alongside with Buki was one of the best things ever, alongside with the rest of the Gorman players, man.
For sure. No, that's awesome. And no, like I remember like coming out of workouts and seeing y'all in the sand pit. I remember seeing y'all like just really go at it,
Yeah.
and just again that tenacity. It was just like, okay, these guys, where they come from, this means more to them than I have to say. But a lot of the kids, living on easy road, they know. But with y'all two, it's like, nah, like we got more at stake, and we're really trying to put on for the whole family. So it reflected on that field, though. Y'all both were some dogs, man. Like truly,
Sure.
truly. So um, you at this time though, junior year, you did commit to Ohio State that
Mhm.
summer with the eventual expectation that you were also going to continue to play alongside Tate in college. Now, the only, was that like the primary influence? And then what do you feel like led to your decision to decommit?
Um, uh, Tate being a primary influence and being able to play alongside of my brother considerably was, you know what I'm saying, it had some influence in my decision. But honestly, people don't know this, but I was the first player to be recruited from Vegas by Urban Meyer. So I was actually the first person to get that offer. I got that offer before anybody in the state of Nevada.
Oh wow.
So I'm
Okay.
the reason, and humbly speaking, I'm the reason Urban Meyer started coming to Nevada and
Oh
recruiting
shit.
players. Yeah.
Look, man.
And 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 my true initiation, my true initiative to why I wanted to go to Ohio State, my family tree stems
now,
from Ohio.
now knowing
So
that,
and my goal, the reason why I always wanted to stay in California is because my mother, that was like the only time my mother could really see me. You know what I'm saying? And to see me play. So that's why I didn't even want to move from California. But my mother lives in at that time. My mother moved to Ohio with my sister. My sister moved from Midlow,
that makes
off the street of South Central, to Ohio to start her life with with her daughter and her husband at the time. And my mother needed help, so she moved out there with my sister. So I remember going. I remember I was out there visiting my sister, and at that time I got invited to the opening for the second time ever. And that usually don't happen. Usually you get invited to the opening 1 year and it's that. But I
sense.
was one of the players that got invited 2 years in a row. And
Yeah, yeah.
I remember I DM'd the coaches at that time, and I was like, I would love to visit your school, you know what I'm saying, sometime or whatnot. I gotta go to the opening, but I would love to be back and visit your school. Fast forward like a year later, going to my junior year, um, I went and visited during the season, and that's when I got an offer from Urban Meyer, and he started coming to my school and all that. And I used to tell him like, I have a brother on my team, word for word. I have a brother on my team. It's my goal to play with him. If you guys throw him an offer, he will commit. Tate's family as well is from Ohio too. Like his family tree stems from Ohio, which is ironic. So
Small
he
world.
used to always tell me like, "Hey, if I get this offer, bro, I'm going to commit there. And I'm like, okay, bet, bro. Like, this is gonna work out. Cause when we were going through our recruiting process and us going on visits together, I got my first offer when I was an eighth grader. Tate got his first offer when he was a seventh grader. He committed to Washington as an eighth grader.
I remember
So
that. Yep, I
so
remember that.
we were getting offers at a young age. You know what I'm saying? And we were so young minded, bro. Like it's crazy to think that this how we were thinking. But like I would go to schools and I would tell them like if you offer me, you have to offer my brother. If he would say, if you offer me, you have to offer my brother because it
Yeah,
was our goal to play with each other. And but as we're getting older, we started realizing like sometimes these schools, sometimes us together won't fit in in certain systems. You know what I'm saying? So me and him started navigating different schools that we liked because we were getting offers that I liked and he was getting offers that he liked. My dream school, I'm sorry to the Beavers, but my dream school was the University of Oregon. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
Knowing who my
okay.
favorite player was and knowing that I used to emulate my game after this person. So my head coach at Nebraska when I went there at the time, to fast forward, was Scott Frost. But Scott Frost was the offensive coordinator at Oregon. And
Yep.
that's when I got my first offer from Oregon, and Tate didn't get his offer from Oregon, and that's when we started realizing like maybe we might need to make our decisions on our own, and you know what I'm saying. But fast forward from that Oregon offer, Ohio State, right? Ohio State, I commit with a player named Trayvon Grimes who played at St. Thomas Aquinas as
Nah,
well.
he was a dog.
Highly touted receiver,
Yeah.
very good receiver, one of my close friends at the time. um, they gave Tate an offer. He commits. I'm like, hey,
Oh no, it's technology. No, what's going on?
I,
It just yeah, it just like right as you were talking about Trayvon and then Tate getting his offer, it just
can you hear me?
yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, hold on. I don't know what's going on. Can you turn the audio back on? I can't hear you. I don't think.
You can hear me?
Nah, it's gonna take a minute for it to like come on.
Sheesh, this audio is not.
Oh my bad. People just keep blowing me up.
Are you
I
good? I
can
know
hear
you
you
got.
now. Yeah, people keep blowing
Okay,
me
you
up. Yeah, I can hear you. Um,
okay? Cool.
so at the time, yeah, to keep talking, Tate was committed at the time. I also had another teammate who went to Gorman High School. I'm like, hey, I have another teammate who would commit to this school, Haskell Garrett. They throw Haskell an offer, Haskell commits,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And I don't tell people this though, but like it was like it was some bad blood and some bad talk about me going and why I decommitted from that school that I wouldn't really tap into. You know what I'm saying? But
I don't know that.
yeah, I was telling Urban Meyer, hey, I have teammates that will commit there, like literally. And Urban Meyer was, okay, Tate, okay, Bubba Bolden, okay, Bubba's the only one that didn't commit. Bubba's the only one that didn't commit, and I was trying to get Bubba out of everybody to commit. You know what I'm saying? So like at that time, I was committed, and then after our season, I had to transfer due to some things that went on in the household that I was living in at the moment, and I went to the All American game, and this is like a more personal reason why I decommitted. And I went to the All American game, and we were in there with like Darnay Holmes, Jalen Phillips, Tate Martell, me, Bubba, Buki was there, T.J. Pledger, who went to Oklahoma, and other highly touted players who was in this game. You know what I'm saying? Mike Harley, who went to St. Thomas Aquinas as well. Dudes like this. And we're just going around while we committed and stuff, and I'm telling them why I committed and all that other stuff, and then I remember um, one of my teammates from Gorman told me, was like, hey, I don't know if the coaches, just like high school talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, kids just talking and trying to get in your head. I don't know if the coach really thinks that you're gonna want to go here and all the other stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, why would you say that in front of all these players? Like, what I'm saying? I'm committed here because this is my, like, I want to go here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And one of my closest friends told me that, and I'm like, instantly I called Urban Meyer. I'm one of them players that's like, hey, I'm trying to clear this up. Like, this is my life. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
to fast forward, they had like something going on at Ohio State that I don't have no complete clue about the concrete details on what's going on, but they had like some allegations going on, which is why Urban Meyer had to step down, and the receiver coach has some allegations going on, Zach Smith, which also spoke about me saying I was receiving money in high school to go to a different school, which is not true. Obviously, because I was able to play. If I was getting paid, I would not be eligible. But
No.
yeah, he started like a podcast just talking bad about my name, bro. And I'm just like, why would I want to come play for this dude? Why
Yeah.
would I want to? And he talked bad about my other teammate, future teammate, who's going to be Trayvon Grimes. You know what I'm saying? And Trayvon Grimes actually went there, and he
I
transferred
remember
to
hearing
Florida.
this.
Yeah, then he
He like
transferred
put
to
the
Florida.
voice.
But
Yeah,
I,
like
but go ahead.
I was gonna say, didn't he? I remember seeing that. Like, not to interrupt you, but Trayvon said like the coach was like mad, like racist, and tried to fight him or something. Like some crazy. Something it was like it got
Yeah,
really bad.
it's that it was bad, bro. It was bad, and I seen it beforehand before even getting to college. Like, and I would tell them, but they wouldn't. They had them coaches in their head, like, all right, bro. And I decommitted and committed to Nebraska. Thankfully to Keith Williams, who was the receiver coach at the time, and Mike Riley, who coached people like Keyshawn Johnson, the first ever receiver to be picked number one overall. You know what I'm saying? And people wonder why I went to Nebraska. Keith Williams was one of the greatest highly touted receiver coaches with a track record of NFL players. He coached at the Ravens with Lamar and all those other players over there. One of my favorite players growing up and watching, and seeing Tylen Wallace, who plays for the Ravens still, was coached by him, and he's the receiver coach at the New Orleans Saints right now. So like, people ask me, why'd you go to Nebraska? Because I committed to get better as a player. It was
Yeah,
my decision to go to Nebraska. I wasn't trying to go there for the wins and all the other stuff. I was trying to be a better person on and off the field, and to have that father figure. Keith Williams was damn near like a father figure to me. He taught me things that I didn't think I needed to know until I got to that level. He showed me ways how to run routes that nobody ever taught me. He showed me how to drop my hips, get in and out of breaks in 2 to 3 steps. You feel what I'm saying? And elevated my game as a freshman and humbled me. I needed that humblement again. You feel what I'm saying? I, my freshman year of high school, 4-7. My freshman year at Nebraska, 5-7. You feel what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
that really built me into, okay, now I see what it is. And my coaches was on a hot seat. Mike Riley was on a hot seat, which got him fired after that year. And I decided to stay there and ride it out. Scott Frost came over there. And um when he came over there, I was like, okay, this might be a good thing. He might want to use me like how he did at with DeAnthony Thomas in the and utilize me in the backfield and running and doing screens and stuff. But I wanted to be known as a receiver when I come out of college. And I didn't really like how they were utilizing me at that school at the time, and we were 0-4. So like, at that time, um I decided I wanted to transfer, which got me to Oregon State, and Mike Riley was there at the time, along with Coach Smith. Jonathan Smith was the head coach at Oregon State. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, I believe, at Washington when I was in the 8th grade, and he threw me my first offer at Washington. So I was like, it's only right I go to
oh,
somebody
no,
who believed in me at such a young age. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And Ever since then, I feel like it was the best opportunity for me. But to fast forward in that college situation at Ohio State, it just wasn't. It just wasn't for me. I just seen that it was a lot of things going on that I didn't want to be involved with, and there was a lot of bad blood and bad talk about certain players that adults was having with kids, and like you shouldn't be arguing with kids and talking bad on kids' names who are just trying to change their lives and be who they sought out to be. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it just wasn't the culture. It wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. It wasn't it didn't feel like home for me. And I,
For
I
sure.
believe Nebraska being around those coaches really formulated me into this person that I am, you know what I'm saying? And I needed that humblement.
No, 'cause I mean, I remember also being like Nebraska, like
Yeah.
th- he got offers from Bama, Oregon, Auburn, Michigan State, USC. Like I'm like, okay, but I'm like, because everyone like, Notre Dame, everyone's like, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And obviously also everyone thought, okay, him and Tate are going to continue this duo, and they go to college. So I didn't know like any of the behind the scenes backstory, and then I also I didn't know that the receiver coach was that big of an impact for you, because um, that's one thing too that I feel like kind of goes underlooked, is like, do I go to a school where I'm going to be a small fish in a big pond, or am I going to go somewhere where I'm actually going to develop in my skill
Mhm.
set and get better? So I'm glad that you're able to have that. But I know also to fast forward, but like when you were at Nebraska, they didn't utilize you with your proper skill set. You know what I'm saying? And do you feel like going to Oregon State and them being, them having a little bit more of an idea of your skill set, given Scott Frost's experience with coaching DeAnthony Thomas, do you feel like Oregon State ultimately, do you feel like it was the coaching that caught your eye with their program, and or was there any other reason?
Yeah, I believe it was initially it was the coaches that caught my eye. Um, but honestly, they allowed me to just be myself. They allowed me to play, and they allowed me to do the things I wanted to do on that field. And I was very thankful of them. And Confense was my receiver coach there, Coach Fence. He was a chill guy, a guy who helped me develop. We didn't have a understanding in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? So it was very hard to get close to him, and knowing that my relationship with Keith Williams is very strong. So um I was just trying to compare and contrast the both, but they were both different. They were both different. I come from being coached by Keith Williams, who's energetic, who's running around all on the field, to a guy who's just like laid back, chill. Hey, you gonna do what you need to do? I'm just gonna let you play. Like, you just have to do what you need to do. You have to follow the rules, go to class, all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Do the right things on and off the field. And on the field, when we give you that opportunity, you got to do what you need to do. Like, he was one of those people that I believe I needed in my life that I didn't think I needed to. So I appreciate Coach Fent at Oregon State for allowing me, and Jonathan Smith for allowing me to do what I needed to do. But yeah, I believe when I was at Nebraska, I had also went through some injuries in high school that affected me, that
Yes.
most people don't even know I got hurt. You know what I'm saying, in high school, and wondering why you weren't putting up these numbers in high, because I was very scared to make different cuts that I was, because I've never been hurt like that, seriously injured where I needed surgery. But my senior year, first play of our scrimmage in 2016, I caught a ball, broke my collarbone, right?
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
out for about 4 or 5 weeks. It healed. Played St. Thomas Aquinas, won that national game. Then the game after, I think we played Spring Valley High School, and then like first play, I went for a post, Tate threw it up. I caught it. The
Yo,
dude landed on my knee, and it
I'm
felt really weird. It was like really weird. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I go back in. Play like the next two drives. I caught a like a corner route and landed on like fell on my knee, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm done for the day. I think my knee is just sprained. And then fast forward like a week of an MRI, like I get an MRI, they said, yeah, you tore your meniscus. Like you tore your lateral meniscus, I believe, and you have a
Mm-hmm.
decision if you have to make a decision if you want to like meniscus, you can play, but it's
Um,
gonna mess you up in the future, or
um,
you can sit out. And I remember going into the office, I'm like to talk to Kenny Sanchez. I'm like, hey, like I tore my meniscus. They told me, and he's like, well, are you gonna be ready in 3 days to play this game? I'm like, huh? I'm like, what, bro? I'm like, bro, I've done enough, bro. I've been
yeah,
sitting at home and realized like I've done enough for this team. Like, what
yeah,
more can I do? Like, y'all, we're winning games by 40. You feel what I'm saying? It's 40-0 at halftime. What more do you need from me? And I'm telling him this like as a 16-year-old, like, no, I'm done. I gotta think about my future. Cause if I keep playing, like, I might not have a meniscus to play on after that. You know what I'm saying?
that,
And and
yeah,
and I felt it. I felt like it hurt them a lot to know that like I didn't want to continue to play. But you know how that culture is. Like when you're hurt at Gorman, it's a get. Do not let these trainers walk you off this field. I seen people break their legs during games and like hop off the field by the mentality that these coaches, how hard they was on us to get off that field and not look weak. Like I went
mm,
back when I broke my collarbone, bro. I went back in the game, like literally thinking that I had a stinger. When I tore my meniscus, I went back in the game thinking that my knee was sprained, bro. You
yep,
feel what I'm saying? It was just a mentality that those coaches instilled in us. Like I really didn't feel nothing. Like I honestly thought I wasn't really hurt. You know what I'm saying? So like going to college, I didn't like I had treatment and stuff, but I had to get right. Like I've never been hurt. I've never tore anything in my knee. So I was just very like going to my freshman year, my Keith Williams would ask me like why you not making these cuts and stuff like that? Is it are you not confident? I'm like, hey, I didn't want to tell him, but like internally, like I didn't feel confident. I was scared to like that I would hurt myself even more. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't do what I needed to do based off of that of my just my superstitions of like me getting hurt again. So I
yeah,
wasn't the same player. I wasn't growing like my freshman year of college. I wasn't the same player playing against Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, like going against players like that, you feel what I'm saying? From high school to freshman year of college, like that's not easy to do. You know what I'm saying? So like my freshman year didn't go as well as it I expected it to be because of that. And then my sophomore year, I started getting used to it a little bit. I gained a lot of weight. Like I was going through a lot of things, bro. Like I was looking in the wrong directions for answers when I had the answers right in front of me. All I had to do is go to God. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest, like in college, I was so lost. I was by myself in Nebraska. I was turning to drinking and stuff. That's when I first started like drinking and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I was turning to different things that made me feel good, but physically it was damaging my body. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have fun and stuff like that when I went to college. And that's not how and when I realized like my sophomore year of college, I was like, this ain't me. Like I'm not myself no more. Ever since I'm not myself and I had to get back to myself. I caught something my sophomore year called rhabdomyolysis, where like my kidneys was almost failing because I was worked out so hard. And at that time, I was like 203 pounds, bro. And people don't know that I was in the hospital for 2 weeks with my kidneys failing. You know what I'm saying? My sophomore year of college, coming back from my first workout, kidneys failing. I'm in the hospital. I thought I was just like, thought it was something I thought I was just sore. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Just from my mindset. And I checked myself in the hospital. They say, hey, you're not leaving for 2 to 3 weeks. You know how scary that is? I'm in the middle of Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. No family, bro. I have nobody to come check on me. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? The only people that checked on me was my quarterback at the time, Tristan Jebbia, my roommate, Avery Roberts, and my other roommate, Javon McQuitty. Like, those are the only people that checked on me when I was there in the hospital, just going through it, bro. And I was just like mentally not there, and I just like had self evaluations. Like, I gotta change my life. Like, this ain't me. I don't drink alcohol. I don't party and all this other stuff. I was just so lost because I wasn't the same person I was in high school. So I started changing and turning into this party kid that wanted to have fun and turning to different routes to make me feel good. But the best thing that I did, you know what I'm saying, a couple years later than that, was to turn to God and find the answers right there. You know what I'm saying? Give my life away. I had to kill my, metaphorically and figuratively, kill my old self to become this new person and live this life that I wanted to live, bro. So like, I went through a lot, like mentally and physically, that people don't know. I was somebody who don't talk about that stuff and make excuses, but this is real life stuff that kids are in high school players when they go to college, that they have to avoid and that they're gonna go through. You know what I'm saying? And you can choose if this is your life or if it's not. And if it's not for you, you can go have fun and party and all that other stuff. But if you got something on your mind and your family, and you got a reason and your why is so greater, it's that's the difference between taking 3 years in college and or taking 5 to 6 years in college. You feel what I'm saying? So like, I was like, my journey was prolonged because of the decisions I made when I was 18 and 19, going into college and not having somebody like an older figure I could really talk to when I went to college. You know what I'm saying? Until I got to Oregon State to talk to DeAnthony and tell him like, hey, I was going through a lot at Nebraska, bro. Like, I lost myself not being the best player and shit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, I had to find myself again and humble myself in that situation, and realize and rewrite my whys and understand that there are people counting on me today still. And which is why I still do what I do today and hold my faith strong. And I don't drink, I don't smoke, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that I'm on the last years of my life playing this sport. And if I'm gonna end it the way I want to, I gotta make these sacrifices and not get back to that my old self having fun. You're not that same person, bro. So I gotta get and be this different person and be that example. So when there are younger kids and they ask me, "Hey, Tyjon, bro, like, how did you get through college and how did you get to where you was, bro? It wasn't easy. I had that fun. I'm gonna be real with you. I did what I shouldn't have done and what I didn't want to do, but at the end of the day, I still made it where I wanted to make it to. You feel what I'm saying?
Man, that hit.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That hit deep, man, and that made me want to pick up a helmet and some pads and run through a wall.
Nah, for real, bro.
But
For
no, like,
real.
that is all true and real and genuine and raw. And I think the fact that you have a testimony that people can see themselves through and can connect to, it makes so much sense why you are who you are and why you carry yourself the way you do. And I'm sorry I had no idea, and I wish you and I had like contact at that time, because I would have definitely checked in on you, man. I'm sorry that I didn't know that you were
Appreciate it.
going through that with your kidney, and
It's all love.
just in general, you know what I'm saying. And I mean, it was I feel like our class, honestly, I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
man, we went through it and still
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but one thing that I do look and take back is just like the desire and the drive and that survivor and that survivor mentality and that grit. That's there, because like if you just go down the line of everybody that we went to school with, and especially in our class, we all have a story, all have like just life knocking us down, and learning how to build yourself back up, pick yourself back up. So, salute to you. And I don't know, I know I've been trying to be mindful and respectful of your time. How much time do you have left?
We could go for like 10 more minutes if possible. I just gotta go to one of my players' track meets. You know what I'm
I got
saying?
you. I got you. Now, so kind of to still talk about your collegiate career, but to talk about at Oregon State. You had some big moments. You basically won the game against USC in 2021, 5 catches, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You also had a big rushing touchdown versus Florida to win in the Las Vegas Bowl in 2022 to cap off a successful 10-win season. Now, given that you had the opportunity to play both in the Big Ten and in the Pac-12 before it was now, it's no longer, what would you say is the biggest difference in the competition, and who would you say are the best players that you matched up against in them times?
Yeah, that's a good question. The biggest competition, I'll say the biggest difference from the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Big Ten is more like smash mouth football, pro style offenses, bigger players. I would say back in the day, bigger players, and honestly, greater talent from when I played there. More first round, second round draft picks in the Big Ten at the time. Um, I'll probably say, and then the Pac-12 is more of a air raid type of offenses where they utilize smaller players like me, quicker players, more shootouts, like closer games. Whereas I've been in games where it's 53-52. We score 52 points and still lose. You feel what I'm saying? So like, and I've been in games in the Big Ten where it's like 7-10 and we lost the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Teams like Iowa who just hold the ball and utilize that clock. Wisconsin who hold that ball and utilize that clock. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's a huge difference. I'll say the best player I played against in the Pac-12 was probably my senior year in 2022, and they don't call it the Civil War game anymore though, but that's Oregon against Oregon State. One of the greatest rivals. I love playing that game. I'll say Christian Gonzalez. He was the cornerback who played at Colorado as well. I played him at Oregon State, and then he transferred to Oregon for his last year, and he plays for the Patriots now.
Yeah,
Um, he was
that was
probably the best player I played against in the Pac-12. I'll probably say in my college career, honestly, Christian Gonzalez. And then in the Big Ten, it was such a blur. Like I didn't really get as much playing time. So if I would say, it would be one of my players at Nebraska. Um, his name was Chris Jones, but his name is Chris Payne Jones. He plays for the Battlehawks in the UFL right now. He was probably the best player that I went against at Nebraska. He was on my team. I used to compete against him, and he used to give me words of encouragement. He was one of them players who don't talk and just lock you up, and I hate those players. He was one of those. And I used to be at practice like, bro, say something, bro. Just say like you distract me or did just say something, bro. Don't just walk back like I suck, bro. Like don't just do that one. Don't just do that one, bro.
man.
Let
They
me
be
talk
lying,
back to you.
man. They be lying if they said that. But no, I get that. Now, to go forward, like you went through the combine, you ran a really good 40 time, recorded a great vertical. Now, what was the process like in meeting with those different teams? Because in lieu of just what happened with Shador in this past 2025 draft, people talk about like the combine, but like what's it like to actually be there? And what did you experience in your time there?
So I went to the pro day and stuff like that. So you have your own. Every team has their pro day and stuff. So like we had like 30 teams come out, and usually who you talk to don't pick you up. So like the teams I talked to the most was the Raiders and the Chargers going through my process. And I flew myself to Seattle to their pro day. So
Okay.
every team has like their own pro day. And I flew myself to out there to Seattle's pro day. They weren't really talking to me as much in the process of like around when the combine was and when my team's pro day was. But when I went up there, I was like I did very good in the receiver coach Sanjay. His name, I think he's the receiver coach at the Chargers right now. He really liked what I could do, and he was like, "Hey, when the draft comes around, like you're not a highly drafted player. You're not touted to be drafted. So like, if you're still available, I think we're gonna pick you up. So just keep your phone on. I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really take much of it. Like, I'm thinking that the Chargers or the Raiders, I could stay home or something. You feel what I'm saying? Where I could play, and I didn't hear nothing from them. And I remember in like the seventh round, I'm like, bro, I'm just sad. I'm just in my room. I'm like, it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I'm literally laying in bed, about to go to sleep. I'm about to like put my phone on silent, get a call. Hey, hello, this is Sanjay. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm hot though. Am I like at my like physically? I'm mad, bro. Like, cause I'm still like it didn't go the way I wanted it. Yeah, like yeah, we'll love to sign you. You know what I'm saying? Get you to the team. I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like, y'all not gonna regret this. I appreciate you. Like, it's on. Hung up the phone, and I remember at the time I was with my family, and they're like, bro, like, I didn't even tell them. Like, for 2 hours, I let 2 hours go by because I'm just laying in bed. Like, I'm literally just laying in bed, just by myself and just thinking about my journey. Like, bro, I went through so much injuries. I went through decommitting. People telling me I'm not nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And just seeing that I still got to that point, even though I didn't get drafted. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was overlooked by so many people. People said that I wouldn't get to where I, but it don't matter how you get there, I still got there. It don't matter if I
Damn
was
right.
practice squad or not. I'm still on the team. It don't matter how if I played in three preseason games, bro. I'm still on the team. You feel what I'm saying? I still made it because
Damn
I
right.
get to be in the same room as Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Jake Bobo. People I used to look up to. I used to watch Tyler Lockett on the TV, bro. At like in high school and middle school. Like what? And now he sits across from me, and I get to learn from him. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm signed. I'm not even drafted. So me being on that team is not guaranteed. Every Monday, I will keep my phone on. I wake up at 6 in the morning, thinking that somebody gonna call me and be like, "Hey, are you at the facility? Can you bring your charger and your playbook?" That means you're getting cut. I got cut. I got cut when they made the 53-man roster. I was on the team the whole time from rookie minicamp all the way to the end of preseason. I was the first person cut. I was the first person called in the office. You know what I'm saying? I went in the office. I'm like, hey, I was hot. A week later, Pete Carroll calls me. Hey, I like the way you work. I like the way you practice. I know, and the way you reacted when we cut you, you didn't take it in any like you didn't take no bad blood from it. Like you was very thankful for your opportunity. Regardless, we want to bring you back to the team. I was there for 8 to 9 weeks, bro, till the season ended. You know what I'm saying? And I was every week still waking up at 6 in the morning, like,
Thinking
oh, if
all
they
that.
don't call me on Monday, I'm good. If they don't call, if it's 8 a.m. on Monday, I'm on the team,
Ah,
bro. I
made it
did
to
that for
8.
9 weeks. I did that for 9 weeks, bro. Like I was like, you feel what I'm saying? But I would always be on that field afterwards. And I remember Sanjay, who was my receiver coach, he had a talk with me. He's like, bro, you come out here every day and you're out here for like 2 hours putting in extra work. He was like, do you think you're gonna get cut? And I remember him having that talk. I'm like, yes. Like I'm scared. I don't have like this is my life. Like I have to do everything what I need to do times two. And he's like, you're good. He's like, you don't have to do all this work like that. When you make a bad play, I already know what you're capable of, so I'm not gonna yell at you. Like I already know, like you're in the league, like you're a good player. Like all that physical, putting in that extra physical work. No, that's not what you need to do. You need to be in that on that board, writing the plays and going get your mental because everybody can run a 4-2. Everybody can run a 4-3. Everybody can run routes like you. Everybody in the league is good. It's just that mental is what's gonna separate you. And he's just talking to me. He's like, bro, you need to rest your body. Don't be thinking like you in high school. You're not that young no more where you can just put in 2 more extra hours. You have to rest your body, bro. And you have to really lock in on the mental stuff. And that really hit home and like it made me feel so much better about myself and to know that like he's seen a lot in me that I didn't see in myself because it was overlooked by the people that I was playing with. And I'm like, damn, like I used to fanboy these players. Like I'm one of them players that like literally look at these players who are on my team and be like, bro, like I used to and they used to tell me like, bro, do you see where you are now though? Do you see
Yeah.
that you're in the same room as me? Like you're in the same position as me. And I had to like really take a step back and be like, dang, like I used to watch you, Tyler, on TV, bro. playing for this team. I remember watching Pete Carroll running down the sideline when Percy Harvin scored in the punt return, kick return in the Super Bowl. Like,
Yep,
and
yep.
now I have that same jersey on, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So like that experience, bro, that whole experience and not being drafted and getting cut and then being cut twice, you know what I'm saying, and staying down, and regardless of where I'm at now, playing for the in the CFL, my opportunities was presented and I didn't take it for granted. I'm just thankful that I am where I am. So when I have kids or when I coach these players that I coach now, and for my 707 team and these high school players, they have motivation. They have a why. They have a reason why they need to keep going. Because it's not over. Your story is not over. I was succeeding so much faster than my high school teammates. But when I got to college and I started realizing like my journey was not going as fast as I needed it to go, or I thought it should be going, it was just proven fact that my plan is not my plan. You feel what I'm saying? It's a whole different blessing that's in disguise waiting for me. Regardless of how I got there, bro. My first time ever crying in football on the field was my first preseason game. I'm running out and I look out and they're singing the national anthem, bro. And I just look at my jersey and my logo don't say Pac-12 no more. It says NFL, shiny silver logo. And I was crying. I'm like, I'm really here, bro. In the 12th man, you know that stadium room rocking in
Mhm.
Seattle, bro. I'm like, this is real, bro. This is real. Like that movie, that story gonna be so much greater that I didn't get drafted, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like just to tell these little kids that I coach now that it don't matter how you get there. You can go JUCO no matter what, bro. You if your mindset is right and you keep the main thing, and you if you love football and plan, then you shouldn't have no plan B. You have a plan B when plan A is plan A until plan A don't work. Then it changes plan B. I tell my players that. You know what I'm saying? Always have something you good at, but if you want this to work, the only way you're gonna let this work, the only way you're gonna be that 1%, that 0.01% to get drafted, is you have to keep plan A. If you really love football, you feel what I'm saying? So
Man,
I wouldn't trade how I got there. I wouldn't trade my journey for nothing. I wouldn't trade the good, the bad. I wouldn't trade my injuries and all that. I don't look at that as like setbacks. I just look at it as like learning lessons and obstacles, man. I visualize myself like I'm in one of those inflatable them like bubbles, you know what I'm saying? That people run into each other with. You feel what I'm saying? And there's a road that I'm on. It's windy. There's bumps in the road. There's walls. There's gonna be people trying to get into that bubble to hold you back and to slow you down. But if you just keep the main thing and you keep your vision tunneled, you're gonna make it regardless, no matter where or how long it takes, no matter how you got there, or no matter where you're at. It don't matter where you go. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you make it and you got that logo on your jersey, bro, you made it. You feel what I'm saying? So like that gets me like that's one of the best things about my life, bro. That I think about a lot.
man. Nah, like I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I needed it. I clearly needed to hear this. Like, God,
Man.
I'm glad that we could, make this connection, and I'm glad that I could do this interview because, in a whole different field, but still with knowing sports, like
Yep.
your story, your testimony, man, that's some moving and inspiring stuff. And your kids are lucky that they got a
Mm.
coach like you who cares. And I really do hope that this opportunity in Canada with Montreal, I hope that leads to the NFL giving you another shot and opportunity because you deserve to be out there, man. You a
Man,
dog, you a
appreciate it.
beast. I can think of so many teams right now. Shoot, my Saints, we need a receiver, bro. Please be our
Keith
Tyreek
Williams,
Hill,
man. When
please,
the time is
please,
up, Keith Williams. When the time is up, hit me up, bro.
oh,
Keith Williams,
please.
man. He
Who
know,
that
he know. I
nation?
think committed from Ohio State, bro. Had to come to Nebraska. He up there. That's my dog.
Who that
But
nation?
right
Please.
now, right now, we gonna do. We gonna stay patient. We gonna
Absolutely.
continue to keep the main thing, and wait my turn. Cause I got stuff to do. I got. I could do things in in a whole different country now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like my name ain't only gonna be known in America and in the United States. You feel what I'm saying? We tapping into some international stuff now. So once
Big time.
once I do my thing there in the CFL, and you know what I'm saying, keep faith and just let God do his works alongside of my team who has helped me navigate my way through and get ready for the CFL, bro. I love this journey, bro. No matter how many more years I got, bro, I'm gonna keep doing this until they cut my feet off, bro. I swear.
Hey, amen to that, my brother. Man, I hope that one day I can call one of your NFL games.
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's what
That'd be amazing. Let's
now
keep let's
people
let's let's keep that the motivation, bro. Let's
feel
keep
me
that the motivation for sure. And it had to
post
be you too. It had to be you. I never told my story to anybody, bro. Like on any platform, I could have did it anywhere, but like you I see you as like my brother, bro. So like me being able to open up and to talk to a like-minded person like you, like we've been through similar situations at birth. You feel what I'm saying? So like you're somebody that I really respect and I enjoy. You motivate me. I've seen you doing a lot of interviews and stuff like that, bro. So like I just want you to know that you keep going too, bro. Your journey is long from over. You feel what I'm saying? We young, bro. We ambitious, we got faith, you know what I'm saying? We hold on to our spirituality and all that. Just keep going. Cause like it's a marathon, not a sprint, bro. You always gotta remember that.
Amen. Amen. You know, that's the perfect segue to ask this final question. But I ask this to everybody, and I do also want to say thank you for real.
Already.
And all love, and you know what I'm saying? You got my number anytime, my brother, anytime. Truly, truly. Um,
Likewise.
but and next time I'm in Vegas, we definitely gotta catch up. I feel bad that I didn't get to see you, but we gonna catch up next time I'm in Vegas and whenever you're, because I know you're gonna be back and forth with Canada.
Yep.
But when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered as?
Man. When it's all said and done, I want it to be remembered as the stand-up man, the stand-up father that I never had in my life at the time. You know what I'm saying? I want to be known as, because my ultimate goal, honestly, a lot of people think that my ultimate goal was to make it to the NFL. Yes, that was one of them growing up. But my ultimate goal is to have children, have a family, and to start a family and to build my own foundational family that I didn't have. Be there for my kids, you know what I'm saying? Be able to teach them the things that I wasn't taught. Be able to um have grandkids, being able to tell them the things and show them the routes and ways and show them my jersey and be like, hey, you could do anything. It don't matter what you do in life. You feel what I'm saying? And that's honestly my ultimate goal is to be able to I continue to do what I do for my future kids, for my future wife that I plan to have. You know what I'm saying? My mother has two other kids. They're all my brother's 15 years older, my sister's 17 years older. They all have kids. I'm a great uncle. My nieces and nephews have kids.
Yeah.
I have a niece that's 25 years old. I was an uncle at 1 years old. You feel what I'm saying? So like my route hasn't like I haven't had any kids yet, you know what I'm saying? So like my ultimate goal is to have that family and to be there for my kids and my wife and my whole family and my foundation that I built. Um and be that stand-up guy and to be that stand-up man and father and grandfather and uncle and brother and whatever, you know what I'm saying, to my family members and to show them the example of how to be, how to become and how to succeed and how to excel past your greatest ventures that you've ever been through. You know what I'm saying? Going through life, it's very difficult and tough, you know what I'm saying? But they could throw so many demons at me. You can throw 100 demons at me, but that's gonna be 100 demons land on their back, man. I swear. Like I will not feel defeated in all that I do because my ultimate goal is to be known as that. You know what I'm saying?
Amen, my brother. I got faith. I got faith that you will. And I can see on that patch right there. You ain't letting nothing
Yes,
stop
sir.
you. You ain't letting nothing get in the way. So
Kill
nah,
them.
man. Kill him.
Hey.
Hey, kill him and kill him with success and kill him with a smile
Literally.
and
Yes,
kill him with a
sir.
smile. But man, nah, this was awesome, man. I really appreciate being able to learn your story, being able to catch up with you, but also to be able to learn, just kind of what you went through and hear your testimony. It was very inspiring, and it's making I'm a probably like sit and just catch myself and
Yeah.
take it all in. But
It's a
man,
lot.
no, truly a moving story. And your story is far from finished. Your story is far from done. And
Yeah.
I definitely am excited to see you continue to succeed. And very briefly, but when Rashad passed last summer, man, I hadn't cried like that in years. And
Yeah.
I thought about how one of the last combos that we had over the phone, it was like my senior year of college, and he just randomly called me up and he mentioned, how proud he was to see like me keep going and keep pushing through, knowing that I had been through a lot. And ever since that moment, his passing, has made me recognize, my time in high school was turbulent. You know what I'm saying? I could, there's plenty of stuff that I don't know if you knew about my journey, but we'll talk another time. But to be able to smile through it all and to know that God has got me and to have the people that I have around me has been, absolutely monumental. And I know that you can relate within that as well. And we both come from slightly different walks of life, but understand this, it ain't easy for a young black man out here trying to make a name for himself. But I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for you, and I'm continuing to root for you. And I'm looking forward to see you continue to reach the heights and to reach the levels that your talent, your work ethic, and your character are more than deserving of. So, my brother, all love to you, and I can't wait to see you on an NFL Sunday soon. Because make no mistake, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and
Appreciate that,
I
man.
I can't wait. And I, where's the best place for people to follow you on your journey? Because I'm big on giving the people promotion in the platform.
Yeah. So you can find me on preferably Instagram at Tyjon Lindsey, TYJON. The I is a one, NDSEY. I got other social media like I have Twitch where you can catch my gaming. Weezy's World, WeezyWorld, on Twitch. But also, if you go to my Instagram and click the link in my bio, it'll take you to all my social media platforms on my LinkedIn. So you'll be good to do that. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys, and I appreciate you again, Dylan, for having me, bro. It means a lot, and I appreciate you. And it's much love once again. Rest in peace to Chef Shotty Boy, Rashad Gage, man. That means a lot to me that you brought that up too. He's the reason why I keep going for sure, bro. We lost bro last year. I was in Canada when I lost him, and I remember I was streaming at like 3 in the morning with him the day before he passed, bro. So it really hit home, and I didn't really feel those emotions until like 2 months later, until I got back here to Vegas, knowing that I
Yeah.
didn't have one of my closest friends I could just go to anymore. And he was a light in my tunnel that felt really dark at certain times, and he's the reason why I keep going. Mainly, he's my why, and he's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, I've turned myself and gave my life up to God, because you don't know when your time could come. And it really affected me knowing that, you know what I'm saying, my one of my closest friends, and if not one of my best friends, isn't here anymore. But the only way you can, keep his legacy and name living on is by keep living through him and having him live through you as well, bro. So it's all love, mutual respect.
Dude, exactly. And then
Yeah.
like real brief, but when I sophomore year, when y'all came through, when y'all transferred, my first time doing BGTV, I was real stiff, I was real awkward, I was real like just I wasn't being my natural self.
Yeah.
And I remember Rashad pulled me aside and he was like, "Bro, you don't talk like that." I was like, "What you
Literally.
mean?" He's like, when you're over here yelling at us at the lunch table, debating and pulling up stats. You don't talk like that. Be yourself. Be the person that we know you are and love. And I I don't forget that. We was like 15 years old, 26 now. So I'll never forget that. And he was a light. He was someone who was truly an amazing friend. And I really wish I could have been there for him in that last part. But like you said, we got to keep living. We got to allow him to keep living through us and to keep his name and legacy alive and continue to not lose the brotherhood that we built in that time at Gorman. So, hey, you got me.
Bro.
In your corner, man. I'm rooting for you, my brother, as always. And the only way to end it, to take it back to Gorman, but you gonna laugh. You gonna laugh. You go. You already know.
Oh,
You gonna
God,
laugh.
bro, I'm already done.
I
Go
know
ahead.
you good, but you gotta do it.
Got to.
Keep it chill, y'all.
Keep it chill.
Episode 12 has commenced. It's been an absolute honor to have my
Man.
brother Tyjon Lindsey here. Look out for more content on the way. This has been a journey, but I'm glad that y'all on it with me. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep making all our people's proud. We're gonna keep doing everything we gotta do and make sure that we keep God first.
Yes, sir. Main thing. Keep the main thing the main thing.
Absolutely. Well, my brother, I know you gotta go gotta go support your kids.
Yes,
So
sir.
I want to keep you, you know what I'm saying? We could talk forever, but anytime, man, my phone, you know what I'm saying? All love
Likewise.
to you.
Likewise, love to you, bro. And you can hit me up anytime, bro. Make sure y'all tap in with Dylan Bruton, man. He doing his thing, man. Just keep going. Like I said, bro, it's a marathon, man. And you just got
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like Nipsey said, find your purpose or you wasting air.
Literally. So, amen to that. Amen to that, buddy.
Man, much love, my brother. You keep holding it down. Keep doing your thing.
All right. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for having me, Dylan. I'm going to hit you up. I'm going to text you, bro.
Anytime.
All right. Love.